the new home of the Oldham Bears for a vital match at the bottom of the table. Oldham have a record of played 5, lost 5, and Paris have won just once. So this is a real 4-pointer, and if Oldham lose again, they'll be in deep trouble. Andy Goodway, the Oldham coach, a man under pressure. Oldham's start has prompted questions about his future. On day one, Leeds started the Oldham rot. It was always going to be tough. Last weekend, with a new coach installed at Warrington, the Wolves claimed victory. Oldham played 5, no points. Their captain, Martin Crompton, could be the man to lead them out of danger. His form dictates Oldham's style. The season started brilliantly for Paris, their first Super League win on British soil at Sheffield, but it's their only victory so far. At Salford, Paris came close to an upset, and Phil Bergman, their Kiwi, ran in a hat-trick of tries. French international Pierre Chamaran has now rejoined Paris, and he made a try-scoring return against Saints. Last year, Oldham claimed their only win at Boundary Park against the French, but who's up for the points this time? Yes, this is a real 4-pointer here at Boundary Park, and just a few moments ago, the two captains, Martin Crompton in red, the Oldham captain, David O'Donnell of Paris Saint-Germain, they emerged for the toss. Let's have a word with them now.
Gents, Martin Crompton, first of all, I suppose in many ways it's only can get better from now, can't it?
It certainly can. You know, we've had a bad start to the season, but hopefully we'll put that record tonight and get a good win. Just
moving over to David. David, in many respects, that performance at Salford was a good one. Can you repeat that kind of commitment again?
I have to repeat the commitment. Maybe we've got a full complement of players on the field. You know, we might get that extra couple of points that we needed to come away with a victory. But you know, that's 2 weeks ago. We've had a fairly lacklustre game against St Helens last week. So we're hoping to springboard our competition hopes today. You know, with a victory over Oldham.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Well, Oldham had the choice of ends, and Paris will kick off. Now, if you spot a candidate for man of the match, that's the telephone number for you to ring during the course of the second half. Ring 0891 66 55 25 when we tell you, and you could also be a winner because we have a mini television set to give away on Super League Live, as we do on every match during 1997. Well, here come the Paris Saint-Germain side. 4 straight defeats since their opening day win at Sheffield. They really did come close at Salford, despite having Paul Evans sent off. The victory on the opening day was their only success. 4 matches defeated since then. 78 points they've scored, and for both these sides, defence is a major problem. Only 14 tries for Paris. But Wayne Singh, look out for him. He will wear 11. He gets through a lot of work, as does the fullback Dion Bird. He's the man who goes forward most for them. Pierre Chamaran has returned to the Paris Saint-Germain ranks. A try on his return against St Helens last week, and a hat-trick against Workington last year. 3 of 6 tries he scored in 1996. A quality player. Out come Oldham, the Oldham Bears, and firecrackers overhead as Martin Crompton leads the players onto the field. Boundary Park now their new home, but it hasn't been terribly successful for them. They have lost all 5 matches in which they have played so far this season. They've scored plenty, but look at the defence for Oldham. 157 points have been conceded, but they do run in tries. Top tackler is the big raw-boned Joe Faimilo, and Brett Goldspink, the Aussie, is the man who gains the most metres, 157 average per game. Let's take a look at the two sides then. Oldham first. Paul Aitchison is their full-back. Rob Myler, Mike Neal, Darren Abram and Scott Ransom, the three-quarters. Luke Goodwin, Martin Crompton is their captain. Brett Goldspink, John Clark and Ian Gildart the front row. Second row of Joe Faimilo and Gary Lord, and Matt Munro is the loose forward. And on the substitutes bench, Francis Maloney, David Stevenson, Paul Davidson, David Bradbury. Coach is Andy Goodway, and at least 2 of those players are carrying injuries. Paris have Dion Bird at full-back, Fabien De Vecchi, another Frenchman, Paul Evans, Jamie Olsznik and Tony Wall, the three-quarters. It's Jeremy Robinson and Phil Bergman at half. Phil Bergman, of course, who got the hat-trick at Salford when we saw them on Easter Monday. Jason Sands, David O'Donnell, Tony Priddle is their front row. Michael Hogue and Wayne Singh, and Pierre Chamaran takes his place at the back of the scrum. And on the bench for Paris, Troy Bellamy, Matt O'Connor, former Wallaby Rugby Union international, David Lomax and Adam Peters. Coach is Peter Mulholland. And the match referee is Russell Smith tonight. He is in control, and having seen Stuart Cummings' performance at Wigan on Friday night, well, the referee and the two sets of players have got quite something to live up to here. Martin Crompton, a former Wigan player, and on the score sheet last season here against Paris Saint-Germain, their only victory of last season here at Boundary Park, their new home for the foreseeable future. So we're just about ready. Paris it will be. Who will kick off? It's Oldham against Paris, live from Boundary Park, and the smoke that's hanging over the ground at the moment is a legacy of the fireworks that greeted the players as they came on the field. And that's Dion Bird, the Paris fullback, who's going to get this game underway. A vital match for both these sides. Win is imperative for the two of them. Bird kicks off then, and here we go with Martin Crompton tossing the ball back inside for the first tackle, and that is the big figure of Joe Faimilo. Scott Ranson takes the next tackle, still inside the 20-metre zone. Two sides who are desperate really to get the season underway. That's the Oldham hooker, John Clark, and the man in at dummy half then was Matt Munro. Little half break here. Oldham getting up towards the halfway line, and the penalty immediately. Russell Smith penalising Paris for not allowing the grounded player to get to his feet.
Good run by the prop forward Brett Goldspink, but you can see they had the second bite at the cherry. And as we've seen all through this weekend, it was Hogue that went through, kept him down, and referee Russell Smith not messing around. We've seen all through this weekend's rounds that the referees mean business now.
So here come Oldham again. Good quick hands. This now is Gary Lord. The tackling though is swift and sure for Paris, and it will have to be. Clark was the dummy half. Here's Crompton. They're spreading the play out wide. It's good stuff this, and there's a chance early on. Ball is tossed inside and it went forward anyway. It was Scott Ranson who tried the little neat pass out the back of the hand, but the ball going in a forward direction and moving off the mark. It's a penalty here to Paris.
A little bit too enthusiastic there, but it was a tremendous tackle by the French winger, Anthony Wall. The Paris winger really did get into it. You can see from the high shot that they moved off the mark far too early. This is the tackle. Beautiful low tackle by the winger Wall. No chance for Scott Ranson on that occasion. Nervous times for both these sides. Both sides know that they're desperate for 2 Super League points.
Well, if Paris won, it would put them 4 ahead of Oldham. And I can tell you that Castleford have lost today again. So if Oldham won, it would at least then open up a little bit of a gap between them and Castleford at the foot of the table. But a Paris win, and Oldham and Castleford would be in desperate trouble. Penalty awarded for a high tackle.
Swinging arm there, well and truly over the top.
Matt Munro, the man penalised for the swinging arm on Michael Hogue. So a chance here now for Paris, because they are just 10 metres from the Oldham line. O'Donnell gives it to Jason Sands, the prop forward, drives the ball in, but that's good defence from Oldham. Munro leading the way. He's the man who conceded that penalty. Here's the tall figure of Tony Priddle, tackled head-on by Aitchison. Robinson gets the pass away to Dion Bird, and he went through a little gap, Bird, but it was quickly closed. Good job that Gildart was alert to that. Paris, though, examining this Oldham defence, and that's Michael Hogue again.
Good little inside pass there from Phil Bergman.
Now Priddle once more.
Oh, took his eyes off the football there. He was looking for the man coming on back on the inside. Never really took control of that. Crompton picked up the pieces. An interesting battle between the two halfbacks, Phil Bergman and Martin Crompton from Oldham. Whoever takes control in that department, I think, will ensure that their team picks up those 2 vital points.
Well, as you can hear, the war drums are beating here at Boundary Park as the Oldham supporters try and get their side going. They know how important this match is for them. The news that Castleford have been beaten has filtered through to the ground, and of course we will check on all the results for you from Super League this weekend, this evening, later. But here now is another high tackle penalised by Russell Smith, this time the penalty for Oldham.
Goldspink being taken out by Jeremy Robinson, swinging arm. Well, he's certainly getting involved, is Goldspink. That's the second occasion that he's taken the ball up, but he really did get a swinging arm there by the standoff Robinson. Lack of indiscipline there, Eddie. It's expected, though. There's a lot of pressure out there from both sides.
Well, the stakes are high. 2 Super League points at the bottom of the table. Ian Gildart losing his footing there as he tried to launch that attack. That's Crompton in the headgear. He gets the ball away to Goldspink again, who has certainly been lively early on here. That's a forward pass. Matt Munro charged onto the ball. Crompton just passed it forward.
Delayed it a little bit too late. You can see that Monroe was coming out wide. Clearly just half a metre in front. Well, the idea was there. Monroe running on the blind side.
That was Anthony Wall who took the tackle. Oh, and that was almost a big mistake by Dion Bird. He played the ball back and there was nobody there, and Oldham almost got the possession back. Devecchi, though, plays the ball quickly to O'Donnell.
Good work, though, by David O'Donnell, who had to use the foot. Knew he didn't have time to drop on the football.
Here's Robinson, and there's Dion Bird charging through the gap. It was a good tackle back, and it had to be. And there's a penalty now against Munro again.
Matt Munro
down.
all over the top there. Well, it won't be long before Russell Smith, I'm sure, tells the Oldham skipper. He'll call Martin Crompton, I'm sure, if this continues on. It was a great break by Dion Bird. Came in from the full-back position. I must say, I've been impressed with the way that Paris are bringing the ball back on the inside. They're finding the gaps.
That's Chamarani, gives it to fellow Frenchman Fabien Devecchi. O'Donnell was the dummy half. Bergman to Robinson, and Bird, he loves to chime into the line, this big, tall fullback. Maybe for Paris last season. It's good support from the Paris Saint-Germain side. That's the tall figure of Paul Evans. O'Donnell, the on-rushing Jason Sands gets to the ball. It's desperate defence here from Oldham now. Still a couple of tackles to go. Wayne Singh trying to juggle his way to the line. It's kept alive. Chances here. He's over the line, Paul Evans, but he's held up on his feet. Desperate defence by Oldham. They were surrounded then, was Paul Evans.
Good work, though, by Wayne Singh, who got the ball away to Evans, and the big centre. He did the right thing. He's held up over the line, but that means that the attacking team will have both the head and the feed, so it'll be another 6 for the Paris side.
Big pressure here on this Oldham line once more.
Well, a neat little move round the scrum base.
Here's Singh again, good ball on the inside, and this time they're over and down, but the ball, I think, from Michael Hogue might not have been grounded, but the referee, Russell Smith, I think, will hand this on to the video referee. Hogue comes up with an eye pouring blood, but the referee wants the video ref to decide whether he got the ball down.
Pretty hard to decide there. I don't think he did. You can see that they're all over the top of him. There's 4 Oldham players right over the top of the big second row of Michael Hogue. It was Singh again who brought the ball back on the inside. I mentioned earlier that I've been impressed the way with Paris are switching the ball back very short and tight. All hands to the mill. and I think you'll find that Hogue has been caught in possession yet again. And as I mentioned before, they will at least gain possession from the scrum.
The decision, no try, didn't get the ball down. It's a 10-metre scrum, and the attack, i.e. Paris Saint-Germain, will have head and feed. But Michael Hogue, meanwhile, will go off to have that eye tended to. And so that is a blood bin change, and David Lomax comes on for Paris.
Well, he's no slouch, the big fella David Lomax. But I must say, the Paris are throwing everything at this Oldham defence. And they must be wondering what they have to do to score a try. Twice have been over.
Here's Bergman again, and Bergman inching again towards the line. This is desperate defence from Oldham. Dion Bird trying to drive his way over the line first. That now is Tony Priddle, but again there are three Oldham defenders just surrounding him. This is Chamaran. Chamaran tries to jink inside. Again he's cut down. 4 tackles gone in this set of 6. Bergman gives it some width. This is Robinson. Lovely ball back on the inside to Singh. And Singh taking on Munro, and Munro hanging on to him, bringing him down with help from Gildard. Bergman again, more width from him. Robinson dabs it through. Aitchison read the ball perfectly, and that's terrific defence from Oldham. 3 sets of 6. They've withstood enormous pressure.
They absorbed it all, didn't they? And that's a big tackle. This was a kick through from Robinson. But Aitchison, who really is a top quality full-back, his positional play was superb. They've weathered the storm, Oldham. They'll try to settle things down now. They know that Paris Saint-Germain have thrown everything at them.
And Jason Sands there has taken a crack on the hip or in the lower ribs, and he is down as this ball snakes its way to the touchline. That's a good kick downfield. Goodwin with a great kick into the corner.
Tremendous kick. It relieves the pressure, and it needed to be. And Jason Sands having treatment. Now is it the rib cage? You can see he went over the top, and I think that the elbow, or did he just drop awkward? Oh, you can see him just grab the ribs there now. That looks very much like the rib cartilage.
Well,
and I can assure you that the rib cartilage is often more painful than actually breaking the rib. It splits away from the bone. It's a dangerous area, and I think it just dropped awkward.
I think he did, and Jason Sands will go off the field to assess the damage, and Adam Peters will come on. Well, I know that Peter Mulholland has got major injury problems, as indeed has Andy Goodway, and this Super League is a rough, tough affair, and the injuries mounting for both sides. Offside against Oldham at the scrum. They were inside the 5.
You see how they moved in. They've got to stand back until the ball is cleared from the back of the scrum. Referee Russell Smith rightly allowing the advantage, but none was forthcoming. Well, Paris must be wondering what they have to do now, Eddie. They've had 2 players off. They've had 2 tries disallowed, and rightly disallowed. Both times they were on their back, could not ground the ball successfully.
Wayne Singh again for them. 2 sides battling away against injury here. Andy Goodway, the Oldham coach, says he'd love to see his side with a full complement of staff, but this is going to be a try, and so it is for David Lomax, one of the substitutes. He's only just on the field, Lomax, and it was a beautiful ball out the back door that set up the opportunity. Lomax, the scorer.
Beautiful play by Tony Priddle, the big prop forward. You'll see how he makes the half break. This is a superb offload, and Lomax did the rest. Nice step on the inside from Aitchison, but look at that pass from the prop forward. Tony Priddle. This guy made sure that Aitchison committed himself, and you see the step and the speed. Well, they burst through this Oldham defence on several occasions, but this is the first try that they've come up with, and it was a cracker. There's nothing better for mine than to see a prop forward make the half break, offload to the support player. Tremendous try there.
Robinson adds the extras to improve matters for Paris, and Oldham are trailing here. Paris ahead by 6 points to 0.
You can see how they use the dummy runner on the side and they bring the big prop forward through. They failed to put him down. That is one superb football pass. Sheer skill. Good finish though by Lomax.
David Lomax, the Kiwi, only just on the field, and hasn't his introduction paid dividends for Paris Saint-Germain. Nowhere for Scott Ranson to go. Paris piling in, but that was an attack to the head, says referee Russell Smith, and he will give Oldham a penalty here.
Swinging arm there. Well, that's silly because they'd forced Oldham into that corner with the kick. Lack of discipline there. Usually happens when they've just scored a try. They cannot afford to settle down.
Aitchison, Welsh international, 3 tries already this season. They need one quickly now, Oldham, to respond to that brilliant try from David Lomax. The crowd starting to get behind them. Here's Crompton. Good ball out to Aitchison. Aitchison brings Ranson back on the inside, but that's good defence again. Shamaran was the man on the spot then.
Good cover there by the loose forward, Pierre Shamaran, and it had to be.
Good pass from Crompton to Gary Lord. Gary Lord is halted just 10 metres short of the line. Clark. Little dab through by Goodwin. The ball comes free, and Lomax is the man.
That'll be a penalty.
Yes, the tackle was made, and then they shovel Lomax back over the line.
Well, it came and ricocheted off the hook at O'Donnell, but you could see that the tackle has already been completed. His progress had been stopped, and then they shunted him back into the in-goal area. Well, again, we talk of lack of discipline. Oldham on with a first real chance of posting points in this match.
8 penalties in the first 15 minutes, and 5 of them going Paris's way. At the moment the match going Paris' way, they lead by 6 points to 0. They came very close to victory at Salford, you may remember, on Easter Monday here on Sky Sports. 26-27 they went down despite having Paul Evans sent off in the 14th minute, and they played very well that day, and they are certainly having a right go at Oldham here. On the halfway line they are now, and here's Wayne Singh again, gives it to Priddle. This time Priddle is met by John Clark. David O'Donnell was the dummy half. Robinson just stabbed the ball through the defence, and it's picked up pace off the turf and just kicked its way to the dead ball line.
Not happy with himself, the standoff, Jeremy Robinson. The idea was there, but you could see how that ball just got an extra kick. It's pretty solid, is the turf out there. There's not been a lot of rain in the north of late.
This is Faimilo, 10 metres inside his own half, struggling to get to his feet. Faimilo again.
Well, they're a little bit 6s and 7s, Oldham, and they've got to start looking towards Martin Crompton to sort it all out.
Here he is, Crompton. That was Munro, and that's good play to Lord, and Lord is halted on halfway. It's good scrambling defence though from Paris. Crompton again.
Oh, they weren't kidded then. They really moved across. Bergman really put the shoulder in then.
Bergman and Evans. Good tackling. That's a high kick, huge kick. They're all onside. Here's a tester for Dion Bird, and he came up with it too.
Did well, never took his eyes off the football. You could see how he reached the arms well above the head. Make sure he could bring the ball down into his chest. This is good work. Oh, good work by Myler. It had to be. That went backwards. The crowd don't like it, but it was the right decision by Russell Smith.
I think they're claiming that Jamie Olsnick was tackled here. The elbow was down and the man had hold of him, certainly. No.
Not according to the referee.
Certainly the ball-carrying arm seemed to hit the ground and there was a hand on him.
He was still away. He got away from the tackler. You've got to hold him. You've got to hold him down. So when he's going down, if there's no defensive arm touching, it's play on. Well spotted by Russell Smith.
There was no hand on him when the ball carrying arm hit the ground. So that's why Russell Smith said he could get up and play on. It didn't convince the crowd. Penalty now here against Aitchison for messing around with Lomax as he got back up to his feet.
Well, there was a flop involved there. The big full back certainly got the right arm in it. Well, he's saying they didn't take the ball out, but there was interference. The referee could have penalised him for being over the top, not allowing the man. You'll see Goldswinkle have a little drop. Now, if that's not a flop, what is it? Definitely lost it.
He's called Crompton out, the Oldham captain, and he's warned him that there will be no more indiscretions from his team, or someone will be taking 10 minutes time off in the sin bin.
Well, he may argue, and perhaps he's right, Paul Aitchison, that he didn't actually knock that ball, but you could see that there were two infringements there that the referee, Russell Smith, could have blown up for anyone.
So Jeremy Robinson, bang in front, 25, 26 metres out, makes no mistake. 2 points to Paris. The Oldham supporters unconvinced that the penalty was justified, but Paris have an 8-0 lead.
Well, it certainly lifted their spirits, and now it's important that when Paris kick deep, that they ensure they do not infringe. They must have control now.
Now Faimilo grits his teeth and runs the ball out, but that's good defence again from this Paris side.
Oh, you can see they were running up quickly there, led by Jeremy Robinson. And that's what Paris defence is doing very well. They're moving him quickly out wide, forcing Oldham down this channel down the middle. Oldham playing one-out football.
John Clark plays the ball to Martin Crompton. This is Ian Gildart now, just over the halfway line. That's the last tackle. Kick through. Was by Goodwin, and it deceives Dion Bird, but he does well, the big, tall, rangy Paris full-back. Peter Mulholland in the centre of your screen there in the overcoat, the Paris coach. It's all going according to plan for him at the moment. We've had a quarter of this match played, and Paris are ahead by 8 points to 0. Good ball out wide. This is a tremendous run from Oljanik, but also good chasing back by Rob Myler. He did well there.
He's certainly a talent, is Oljanik. Got a lot of speed.
Dummy half is O'Donnell. And the third time, referee Russell Smith says that Paris have moved forward. They've got to give 5 metres at the play of the ball, the attacking side, while the defence has got to give 10. And Paris were inside the 5.
Well, you don't normally see that. You see the man that was stood made no attempt, and that's the reason why Russell Smith has said that you've got to go back the 5. If it had made an attempt, perhaps the referee would have let it play on. But the mere fact you just stood there, stood as a dummy, oh, lucky to take that one.
Yes, Gildart juggling this time. Held on though, and here's Aitchison, the full-back, joining the line as he loves to do.
That was a pretty high one there. Chamaron did not miss the full-back.
Aitchison hangs his head as Faimilo drives it down the middle, met though by Priddle.
You can see on the replay, Chamaron made pretty good contract. Well, he missed that, did the referee? He didn't.
Crompton dabs it through, Martin Crompton. Well watched though on that far side. It was Tony Wall.
Did well to take that. It took a nasty bounce off the ground.
O'Donnell, the Paris captain, he leads by example, this fellow.
See how it took that nasty bounce, but Wall was equal to the task. Spotted it well, at least he's coming back. Well, they've got things organised at the moment of the Paris side. But Oldham's still in with a great chance.
That's good defence from Oldham this time. They're now trying to keep Paris penned back in their own quarter. Lomax, though, the try scorer, gets a few more valuable metres upfield, but that's the last tackle. Was that a little knock on? Went backwards. Shamaran with a high midfield bomb. Aitchison's underneath it, and he took it well, Aitchison, bravely too.
You see the ball going backwards, and it was Shamaran that run up and put the pressure on Aitchison, but again, indiscipline, this time by Bergman. Good work by Aitchison, but well followed up. But indiscipline again, not standing square, just pushing the man so he could not play the ball. Who'd be a coach, Eddie? Some of the players just lose the plot at vital times.
That's Goldspink. He gets to his feet, plays the ball. Clark to Crompton. That's good play by Goodwin. He gets the pass away. Neil gives it to Myler.
You saw again quite clearly how that Jeremy Robinson is coming out quickly. And that's the reason why the Bears are running one-out football yet again. Little chip over the top, that's what Martin Crompton has to sort of do.
Here is Crompton. He goes to the ball instead to Monroe. And Monroe is halted by Peters. Great pressure here from Oldham, though. They could do with a try. Crompton might conjure one up for them. Ball goes back. Knock on by Gildart. Referee says play on. It was off his knee. That's a knock on, though, against Paris. And Dion Bird just kicks the ball away.
Well, he'll be lucky to get away with this professional foul there, kicking the ball away, time wasting. Don't know where the knock-on came from. That should have been play on, perhaps.
Dion Bird got a hand to it, didn't he?
Well, let's see on this one. That was the first knock-on that was not seen. He said it came off the knee. But I thought that the fullback, Dion Bird, picked that up quite well.
This is Faimilo. Oldham now are 10 metres short of the Paris line. A drive in towards that line by Goldspink again.
Well, he's worked hard. The big prop forward really has taken it up.
He's well known to Peter Mulholland. He's come from Perth. That's a good ball, and that's Gary Lord.
Ooh,
tremendous try for Gary Lord. And Oldham are back in the hunt here. Gary Lord, who has been around, didn't score throughout 96, but he gets one now.
Good work. Crompton just held the ball at the right moment. You see how he sucked the defence through, left the gap open, but he went very close. Well, this was the situation. Now that he claims that Bird did get a fingertip to that, but it's pretty close. The eagle eye of Russell Smith, but what was the result from it? Good work there by Crompton. You can see that he sucked Bergman into it, but didn't Lord go very close to the dead in goal line? Watch his feet now. He took an eternity and slipped and just got it down in time.
Gary Lord with the try. Beautiful pass by Martin Crompton, who set him up, and he's having a new lease of life this year, Gary Lord. Didn't score at all in 1996. That's his third already in 1997. So Luke Goodwin, one goal in Super League 1997 for Goodwin, son of Ted, the 1973 Kangaroo tourist, and he clips the ball towards the post but misses. Now that could be a vital miss, because it wasn't the most difficult kick, but Goodwin didn't find the mark. Of course, Francis Maloney's on the bench.
Crompton there, you can see he sucks in Phil Bergman, and look at the gap. The big second rower gleefully accepts it. Great try.
So Gary Lord's try has certainly given Oldham a bit of hope, but Goodwin should have converted it. Francis Maloney, their regular goal kicker, though, one of those injured players I was telling you about, and probably would not make it through a full game. That's why Andy Goodway, the Oldham coach, has put him on the bench. So here we go again. Goodwin restarts. Deep kick. Bergman gathers it. Good chase. Andy Goodway, the Oldham coach, man under pressure. Penalty against Oldham for interference again at the play of the ball. And Matt Monroe looking perplexed and bemused.
Well, the reason why he's bemused is because it wasn't him that was involved in it. But there was interference there from an Oldham player. You can see that he caught it with his foot. The referee gave Matt Monroe the eagle eye. He was the wrong man. Never mind, either way, it's allowed the pressure to be off Paris.
Shamaran to Lomax. Lomax grounded on the halfway line. O'Donnell in at dummy half. That was Bergman, and now Robinson. Good ball, dragging the runner on the inside, Wayne Singh. O'Donnell again. And this is Adam Peters. The bandage on the right knee. The ball goes to nobody in particular. Evans was there though to pick up the pieces and does well to release Dion Bird again. And a big hole's opened up for Bird down the middle. Support is there from Wall. And now it's Faimilo and Oldham's turn to desperately defend. This is the last tackle. The kick through was by Bergman. Again, it skips off the turf here, quite shorn the grass, and it just skips away once it hits the ground.
Well, it was the right option. You could see that Paul Aitchison was caught in the field of play. That could have bounced anywhere. Good thinking there by Phil Bergman. But I must say that the full-back Dion Bird for Paris is having a wow of a game, both in attack and defence.
Monroe now for Oldham, met by Singh and O'Donnell. John Clark is the dummy half. Crompton in the headgear. The Oldham captain, ever present so far. He's important, so Oldham, so much so that 3 big defeats without him in 1996. Clark over the top. Ranson dabbed the ball into the in goal, but there is an Oldham player who was ahead of the football there, and so had to just allow that ball to run touch in goal. Couldn't make a play for it, otherwise he'd have been called offside.
Well, it was a long ball out from the hooker Clark. Set Ranson free.
And it was Gary Lord, Steve-O, was hunting his 4th try of the season. He was the player just ahead of Ranson when he chipped that ball into the in-goal area.
Well, I think Oldham will be quite happy with the fact that the scoreline is only 8-4. Paris really have impressed. They've been switching the angles of play, using the dummy runners. And it's only been some desperation from the Oldham defence that saved the day.
Bergman to Singh, he couldn't pick it up. Oldham have it back instead.
Well, they tried to switch on the blind side there, and you can see Bergman couldn't get away with it.
Abram did well, and there he is at dummy half. Here now is Faimilo.
That's a better run from the forwards. That was needed, but not the best pass.
Awful pass.
That went nowhere. Well, he ran 15 metres and threw the ball back 30. That's what you call a negative play.
Gildart, they're now back where they started. Crompton, this is out Monroe and Aitchison. Gets a lovely short ball in there. And there's chances for Neil, and Mike Neil gets a try. The man who began at Wigan but didn't play for the first team before Andy Goodway swooped to bring him to Oldham. And Mike Neil picks up the try that levels things up here at Boundary Park.
Well, it was Crompton's pass, but was it forward? That looked a lot forward for mine. He delayed the pass, and Neil appeared to have gone about half a metre in front. The referee has missed that one. High shot will prove it a little bit better. Oh, without doubt. You can see that Neil had taken a step in front. Crompton hangs on to it. If that is not a forward, my hair will grow back tomorrow. And you know the chances of that happening are, oh dearie me, look at that. How on earth can the referee miss that? Let's not take anything away from Neil. Once he got into open space, he knew he had the strength and the speed to go round the fullback Dion Bird. But a lot of the Paris side, they anticipated the referee's whistle, and it didn't come.
So it's 8-all, and Luke Goodwin, who missed an earlier easy kick, now has a chance from the touchline to give Oldham Bears the lead. Amazing, isn't it? They missed him from almost bang in front, and he clips one over from the touchline to give Oldham the lead, 10-8.
Well, he's a master at this, Crompton, delaying the pass, but was it? Yes. For mine, that was forward. And referee Russell Smith was in a very good position to see everything that was happening there. Not that Oldham will complain, you take your chances, and Neil did just that.
And Andy Goodway has made a change. First try scorer Gary Lord goes off to be replaced by Paul Davidson. There he is, Davidson immediately, number 15 in the tackling. David O'Donnell dragging Paris towards the 20-metre line. Bergman to Shamaran. Shamaran gets the pass out wide. Tony Wall, though, is grounded by Darren Abram. There's Abram again. And Ranson. Lomax, the Paris try scorer, does well, gets the pass away. Bergman all wrapped up by Davidson. O'Donnell, the dummy half. Robinson will kick to the corner, looking for the speed of De Vecchi, but it was a little bit ambitious, although he's found touch and the scrum will go down.
Turned out a fine kick, though, from the standoff, Jeremy Robinson. His kicking game has been quite superb in this first half. But they must be wondering what on earth has happened. They were in total control of this game. They were closing Oldham down, and then two pieces of magic from the magician Martin Crompton has created those two tries.
Well, he's so important to them, Crompton, he really is. Munro takes the tackle from Wayne Singh. By Milo, that's a good strong run from the second row. Well watch though, all the way down the touchline. Paul Evans, big tall centre. He got first hand on him. That's Gildart, he takes the tumble. John Clark again, the dummy half. Crompton again, he's involved in everything. For Milo, out wide it goes to Ranson. Ranson will come back this way and now will straighten it up. Bergman pinked out there for a swinging arm. Another penalty, this time to Oldham.
Well, the winger Ranson was running on the angle, and you could see that Bergman went pretty high. He claims he clutched the shirt. Did he? Yep. Maybe the shoulder eventually finished up in the face, but Bergman's wondering what on earth the penalty is given, because he knows quite well that the hand was holding the shirt below the neck.
Quick tap penalty. They take the tap penalty to try and catch Paris out, because they retreated for the expected kick to the touchline, which didn't materialise. Crompton again and again. Missed out Davidson and found Abram.
He's taking control now, Martin Crompton. He's starting to enjoy the game. And Paris are a little bit slower moving up upon him. They're not applying the pressure. They're hanging back because they're a bit mesmerised. They don't know what he's going to come up with.
This is Davidson. Recently on the field, grounded by Anthony Wall. Ranson was the dummy half. The high kick from Goodwin. Pandemonium in the Paris defence. Oh, well claimed, De Vecchi.
Tremendous take by De Vecchi there, but good work by two Paris forwards. They covered him.
He lost the ball.
Big hit by Davidson. Substitute, see the impact. There's no way in the world that ball was ripped out. He just lost control of it. Well, things not going well now. That's the first error from Tony Wall, the winger.
So chances here now for Oldham in the shape of Aitchison. Thought about slipping the pass to Mike Neal, who was looking for his second try. Myler instead takes it on his own from dummy half. Looks to release the pass before he goes down in the tackle. De Vecchi, though, came across and finished him off. Clark into the arms of Crompton, and Crompton again. Long ball this time to Munro. Out the back door, Munro. Good play by Milo. They're keeping the ball alive well. And Darren Abram takes the tackle. Peter Mulholland, the Paris Saint-Germain coach, watching anxiously on as Crompton attacks them again down the middle.
Will they go for the 1 point at all? No, they're going to run.
Clark, the hooker, over the shoulder, keeping the ball alive well. Aitchison back on the inside to Neil. Neil lost it, bounced off Myler's feet. Paris have it back, so the referee says play on.
Good work, Neil coming back on the inside, but you can see the impact there. Good work by Bergman.
Well, we had an absolute classic of a match on Sky Sports on Friday at the other end of the table between Wigan and the Bradford Bulls. This is just as tense, just as tight, because it's survival that we're looking at here. Oldham down at the bottom, no points. Paris just above them with a victory under their belt. And a win here for either side would be so, so important, with Castleford having been beaten by Warrington earlier today.
Well, both sides are becoming more adventurous now, and you've got to give a big pat on the back to Russell Smith for that. He clamped down and all the messing around to play the balls early in this game, and now we're having room to move to play open rugby league football. That's a great kick.
It is a great kick. Aitchison has got to pick that up in his own in goal, and he was almost caught by Bird. Dion Bird was steaming up and nearly got there before him in the end.
Well, you could see that Aitchison, he slipped over, twisted over on the ankle and decided, I'll take safety first. Beautiful kick downfield. Now then, can Paris in the dying seconds, surely when they receive this football, their only option, that's if they know that there's only seconds remaining, is to get it up in the air.
Well, 6 seconds remain.
Not the best kick. It's got to go up in the air now.
They're keeping it alive. There's the half-time siren. That's the end of the first half, which Paris led at one stage 8 points to 0. But then Oldham began to hit back. Brett Goldspink and his Oldham teammates have done well. Martin Crompton just taking off the head guard, the far player of those three. He's the man who has conjured up this half-time situation for the Oldham Bears of 10 points to 8. Mike Neal, though, with the try that was brilliantly converted from the touchline by Goodwin. And we'll have a look back at the first half after these. Coming up on Sky Sports 1 Thursday morning at 10:30, the latest golf from the European Tour, the Cannes Open, where Raymond Russell defends his title. But right now, here on Sky Sports 1, we have Oldham Bears against Paris Saint-Germain for you in Super League. And Oldham ahead by 10 points to 8. The 2 tries from Lord and Neal, the goal from Luke Goodwin, and Paris with the try from Lomax and the 2 goals from Robinson. It represents a good fight back that by Oldham, because at one stage during that first half they were 8-0 down, but they got stuck in, they stuck to their guns, and perhaps they are giving Andy Goodway a little bit to talk about now during half-time. But Steve-O, as I said in the commentary, we saw the classic on Friday against teams who could play with abandon and flair. This is just as tight, isn't it? Because it's all about what's happening at the other end of the table.
My word, they're desperate for the point, and you could see that in the first 10-15 minutes. A lot of nerves, a lot of the play was down the middle, but that was mainly because they were forcing the issue. Paris' defence first 20 minutes was quite exceptional, and so was the cover defence from Oldham, and it had to be, because Paris really did take control of this game, especially in the first 20 minutes. It was a situation where they should have scored a lot more points. They had 2 tries disallowed, and it was just a situation where they were running riot. They were desperate to get the situation. There we see on this occasion Evans, but let's not take anything away from this Oldham defence there. Look at that. They pushed him through. There was a period where they went through again. Now this was Hogue. They did well to turn him on his back, and Oldham went through a period where there was around about 18 to 20 tackles on the trot, and that says quite a lot for all the effort in their defence, and it had to be because they were all at sea. Paris were running the angles and they were taking full control. But to be fair, they scored a beautiful try, and what a pass from the prop forward Priddle. This was just exceptional. Ball out wide, you could see how they're running the angles and the dummy runners, but this is what prop forwards really should do on a regular basis. Good play by the sub Lomax. He hadn't been on the field all that long. It was a tremendous run. Nice step to it, had all the speed and the strength. But full credit though to Oldham, they bounced back, and we were saying during the first half that it had to be that man Crompton that had to get himself more involved, and that is exactly what occurred. But I think there was perhaps another mistake by the referee. Was this a knock-on? Now, did Bird get a fingertip to that? It's pretty difficult to see, so let's not criticise the referee too much on this occasion. But from this situation, the ball went out wide, and if you can just hold it there, and you can see the two defenders coming. Bergman was caught out wide, and beautiful running there by the second rower Lord. This really lifted the spirits of the Oldham side at a time when they were struggling, and it was the fact that they had to get back into it, and full credit, but a lot of controversy about the try just before half-time. Crompton again using the quality, but for mine, he delayed the pass far too late, and on this occasion, that was egg in the Easter basket, and the basket was well and truly in front. This really was a bad mistake by the referee, Russell Smith. Quite ironic in many ways. From the high shot, you can see that it was a beautiful pass. Crompton is a thinker, and you know, Eddie, they really do work hard at it, but these referees have to get a grip of themselves. It was a good run though. Neil deserved it. He certainly knew he had the speed on the fullback, Dion Bird, but it did cause a lot of controversy, and rather ironic as we're coming down. The Oldham crowd, they were giving us real stick over the fact they were saying that the referee was leaning somewhat towards the French side. You can't beat them, can you?
Well, you wouldn't be a referee, would you, even if they were giving you a town hall clock to do the job, because no matter what decision they make, there's someone in the crowd who always wants to blame them.
Of course, but he was in a wonderful position with Smith. I don't know why he missed that, because you could see quite clearly that Crompton held onto the ball far too late, and it was like a gridiron pass, in as much that he feinted, put it through, the quarterback passing it through.
They're supposed to work as a team, aren't they?
Obviously didn't see it.
No, well, that's the thing. I mean, it was a line decision, wasn't it, really?
He must have pretty big shoulders, this Neil.
OK. Well, I wonder if anyone has caught your eye as a candidate for our man of the match this evening, because, as usual, on Super League Live in 97, we are offering you the chance to vote for your man of the match. That's the telephone number for you to ring, and we'll tell you when during the course of the second half. And as ever, the prizes for the man adjudged man of the match is the Sky Sports special video of his performance, and down the spine will be his name in gold lettering for his collection forevermore. He'll be able to show it to his grandchildren in years to come. And also we'll allow him to take home one of these little mini TV sets. And you too could have one of these things if you name the man of the match correctly, and then your name is brought out of the computer first. We will tell you when to ring that telephone number during the course of the second half. But it's 0891 66 55 25 if you want to make a note right now. OK, Oldham were undefeated against Paris last year. It was a 24-all draw in Paris, and they won here at Boundary Park. At half-time, they're leading again, 10 points to 8. But this is a real war of attrition, isn't it, between the Bears and Paris. And coming up next, we'll have every moment for you of the second half.
Coming up on Sky Sports 1 Friday at 7, we're across the channel in Paris. Gay Paris for Paris Saint-Germain and the Bradford Bulls. 7 o'clock Sky Sports 1 Friday. Right now, Oldham Bears against Paris Saint-Germain. I'm sure everyone in Bradford watching this match with interest, as Oldham ahead by 10 points to 8 at half-time, and at the start of this second half they have made a couple of changes. We'll tell them about those in a moment. But here are the statistics from the first half. Penalties equally shared, as is the possession. And Paris have been doing a bit more work with the boot, putting 5 kicks in general play into 3. And they've been doing a lot more work in the tackling also, 127 tackles to 81. Surprising that, Steve-O, in that they are 50-50 in terms of possession.
Well, it was really a situation where Paris was in control for 20 minutes and then Oldham came back into the game. Meters gained 7:36, so perhaps they're a little bit more confident. Will Oldham be in this second stanza?
Well, it's vital for both these sides. We can't really overemphasize just how important this match is. When you're down at the wrong end of the table, a 4-point gap to make up is big even at this early stage. 2 changes for Oldham, as I said. Francis Maloney and David Stevenson have come on. So the Maloney-Crompton half-back partnership is back in full swing again. And it's good to see David Stevenson back and in the game. He's been out for the last couple of years. He's making his 40th appearance now tonight.
Bit of a blow though with the hooker John Clark being off the field. Is it? Oh, that'd be a knock on.
It is. Against Rob Myler, who claims it came off his knees.
Well, pretty difficult to see from that angle. We'll see it better here. Yep, he had a fingertip to it. He's taking his hands out the way. Should have taken that. I was just about to say that I'm sure that both coaches said, respect this football, make sure you keep possession, play out your complement of 6. What do? They knock on the first kick.
Robinson to Dion Bird, who sidesteps around at 1. Bergman tosses the ball back inside to Lomax. Here's Robinson. Robinson to Wayne Singh. An inside pass, good stern defence, though, from Matt Monroe. Bergman again, he gives it more width to Chamarin, and Chamarin out wide it goes to Olznik. Olznik, a little backhanded pass, but straight into touch. Derecci couldn't get anywhere near that.
Well, Olznik was trying to get the winger to come back on the inside, and Derecci had stayed out. And then in desperation, he tried to get the ball away, but you could see that the Derecci, when he decided to come in from the whitewash, was far too late. No one at home. Bad misunderstanding.
Well, if Crompton is important to Oldham, Olznik is certainly the man who could easily turn a game for Paris. And the word, by the way, from the dressing room is that Jason Sands, who we saw going off, clutching his ribs in the first half, we understand he has got broken ribs, and this is the way he got injured. He landed on the hip of the grounded player. Agony for him. This, though, in the meantime, is Aitchison, who was being tackled there without the ball, and I think someone's on his way to the sin bin. If Phil Bergman will take 10 minutes in the sin bin, he was holding Aitchison back by the wrist as he received this. In fact, they were
shaking hands, weren't they?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't the hand of goodwill.
No, it's the hand of Bergman. Goodwill isn't playing.
Well, let's hope they get better as the season goes on. But well spotted by Russell Smith. Interference of a man without the possession of the football. And yes, I am smiling, Eddie.
You didn't appreciate that, obviously. So Francis Maloney has just come on the field, and 3.5 minutes ago, here he is, aiming for his 15th goal of 1997, and this is important. Bergman's the man in the sin bin. He's taking 10 minutes. And he's watching as Maloney strikes a good ball and increases the lead. Oldham 12, Paris 8. And Paris now with 12 men for the next 10 minutes. And that could be a critical factor in the course of this match.
A lot of composure there by Francis Maloney. Really does take his time with the goal kicking. And that could prove to be quite an advantage in this second half, bringing on Maloney as a substitute for the second 40.
Well, Jason Sands with broken ribs, and Peter Mulholland, I know, is really concerned about the strength in depth for his squad, and I think he's reaching the near bare bone stage. And there's a long way of this season still to go yet. Lomax now for Paris.
Well, as this game progresses, I'm sure that the Paris coach Peter Mulholland may have to make a few changes also, especially bringing Jamie Olginek into the standoff position, perhaps from the centres, get himself involved in the play a little bit more.
That was Robinson's kick downfield, and it was a good kick too. It just scraped inside the corner flag, this. Oh, only just.
As near to perfection. Well, he's gained some ground with some vital kicks as Jeremy Robinson. Done a good job, and there's a coach, Mulholland, trying to reassess everything as to when he'll make the changes.
Matt Monroe goes off to be replaced by David Bradbury. That's Monroe getting a pat on the back for his efforts. And David Bradbury comes on, the 1996 British Lion tourist. So Andy Goodway on the right of those two, the man without the headphones. That's Andy Goodway, the Oldham coach. And he is certainly able to strengthen his side, isn't he, when he brings on a Lions tourist as a substitute, and Francis Maloney, as he has done in the second half here.
Though there was talk that both those players had problems coming into this game with injuries.
Well, he took the gamble, didn't he? There is Bradbury, first touch for him. Whoop, and he flicked out with the feet then, and Peters felt that. But he took the gamble, Andy Goodway, that Maloney and Bradbury would be able to last half a match if he had to bring them on.
It may not work for him. You can see that Bradbury is heavily strapped. He's had a fine game, hasn't he, Brett Goldsmith? He's worked hard throughout.
The kick from Crompton, that ball was touched in flight. That's Lomax doing the covering.
And because the Paris player touched it, that is not the zero tackle. That would have been the first tackle.
7 minutes of this second half gone. Oldham seeking their first Super League win at Boundary Park. Now they're home since last July, when Paris were beaten here 24 points to 6. De Vecchi bringing Lomax into the play. Good tackling though. David Stevenson, second half change as well. This is Robinson. Davidson hangs onto his back and hauls him down. O'Donnell, Priddle created the first Paris try.
Another good
tackle again.
Another great tackle there by the sub, David Stevenson. He's getting involved.
De Vecchi dabs the ball towards the corner. Oh, and it almost fooled the Oldham defender.
Now then, did Scott Ranson take this ball out? If he did, then it's a scrum and feed. He did. He touched it. That will be scrum and feed to the Paris side. So more pressure. Good combination there from the touch judge and Russell Smith, the referee.
So, as you say, more pressure on this Oldham line. Dion Bird.
Oh, dearie me.
They've been picked for the obstruction by Olginek. He ran across the face of the man carrying the ball.
Well, that really is a bad mistake. Using the dummy runner is one thing. You could see that he used the centre, and what a wasted opportunity.
And it was on the very first tackle that. That's a real opportunity gone begging for Paris. Myler was the dummy half. Aitchison now. He gets the pass away to Abram. Abram was looking for Ranson, but Ranson had overrun it. And Abram clatters into the advertising hoardings so close to this field.
Well, it's just panic football. Winger had overrun it. Abraham released a football when he was heading for the touchline. At a time, remember, where Paris are still down to 12 men.
Adam Peters has gone off, and David Lomax is the man on.
He's worked hard, hasn't he, David Lomax? The times that he's been used as a substitute. Well, Paris still trying to use the angles, but this Oldham defence has tightened up, especially in and around the ruck area.
De Vecchi now for Paris. By Milo, good tackling by him. That's Shamarat, and here's Wayne Singh. Tackle was completed by Gildart. High kick from Robinson. Tester for Paul Aitchison. 4 after him.
Oh, tremendous take by the big full-back. That's the advantage of having the height, but you could see that Aitchison timed it wrong. He was on the way down when he got it, but the long arms just dragged it in. It was a good kick, though, by Jeremy Robinson as well, because after he kicked it, he ran through and put every one of his players onside.
Goal spin to Davidson. Nowhere, though, for Davidson to go. Paul Davidson, formerly with Widnes. Big Cumbrian forward. Crumpton taking them on all the time, Martin Crumpton. That's on the last tackle. And here's Maloney. Little dab through, that's good stuff. And again, he hacks it over the head of Byrne. And Big Evans is there to sweep up the danger. But that's inventive play from Francis Maloney.
Sheer class there. Maloney realised, of course, that Paris down to 12, no sweeper. Got a second kick to it. But good work there by the winger. He had to come back, didn't he? Swinging arm, high tackle. Well, we talk about wasting your attacking prowess. You put a team on the rack. This was the effort there, Anthony Wall, and he felt that, I can assure you. They did not miss. After all that good work by that man, Maloney, they throw it all away.
Well, Paris are still down by 1 man, with Bergman off the field and in the sin bin. And they've done pretty well to hang on. It's only the penalty that they have conceded so far, the penalty for the original offence, so they've done well to hold on, Paris. Singh now up the middle. Davidson and Milo combined to bring him down.
Well, one man that's caused a lot of problems to this Oldham defence is the full-back, Dion Bird. He's been reaching forward from the full-back position. There's Bergman, ready to come on.
He's in the last minute of his 10-minute sentence. It's been a good effort from Paris Saint-Germain. Lomax, oh, how did he hang on to that? He did really well. And it's come off for him, the little tip back on the inside. This is still the last tackle, though. And Shamarat cuts inside, gets the pass away, and Wall couldn't do anything with that. It bounced off his arm, knock on. It's a turnover on the last.
Well, they kept the ball alive, but before that they should have had the ball hoisted high. There's a time there that you could see the skipper, David O'Donnell, got hand to ball, and really he should have been the one to hoist it. They just lost their way slightly. Good work there by Jeremy Robinson, who was impressed. He's come up very quickly from out wide.
Bergman is back on the field. Paris up to their full complement of 13 as Ransom takes the tackle from Shamaran and company. Well, Bergman, they've done well. That's a forward pass, says Russell Smith.
You've seen that one. Abram delayed it, split second too much. He wasn't going to miss that. He missed one in the first half. You could see Davidson was half a metre in front. Frittering away their chances, both sides.
This is Olznik, bounces away from Singh gets the pass away. Evans does well. Aitchison watched it eagerly. Bergman, Robinson, Lomax, Bird again. Paul Davidson with a little bit of a push from Brett Goldspink. Lomax again. Whoops, ball pops up. O'Donnell retains possession. Went backwards, says Russell Smith. Play on. Robinson. Out wide it goes to Olsznik again. They love to tip that ball back through the hands, don't they? Paris trying to keep it alive at every opportunity. And Myler having a bit of a do.
Well, he gave him a good old facial there, Divici. Myler wanted to get him wanted to get to know him a lot more than he should.
Lomax now taking them on up the middle. He was looking
for support, and there was no second phase coming. He did all the hard work, no one came for him.
Robinson had to leap for that. Spins and turns. Hauled down by Davidson and Aitchison. 4 points the gap, and Paris piling the pressure on. Good strong run from Wayne Singh and Davidson and Aitchison. He's still not stopped. Now he is. But they're so close again, Paris, on the last tackle. Bergman pops the ball up. Again, they keep it alive. O'Donnell gets the ball away to Bergman. This is Priddle. Priddle looking for support. Nobody there. Caught in possession. Last tackle. Turnover. Good Oldham defence.
Good scrambling defence indeed. They worked overtime there. Oh, good run. Oh, great tackle. Tatabi. Singh came to the rescue. And that'll be a penalty. He'll go to the bin for this, surely. Professional foul. He did all the good work, pulled them back, and referee Russell Smith has given Singh the benefit of the doubt, but he's telling the skipper O'Donnell now, the next one to interfere, infringe at the play of the ball, you'll be down to 12 men again. But what a great tackle. What a great run.
Well, Mike Neal thought he was away for his second try of the night. Wayne Singh got a good tackle in and then ruined it all and conceded the penalty. Frenchman Pierre Chamarin goes off and Troy Bellamy comes on. Crompton, Maloney. Great ball to Faimilo, who hit that on the charge. He's getting near his average match tackle count is Wayne Singh. That, though, was O'Donnell and Priddle doing the tackling on Maloney. That was Stevenson. Here's Martin Crompton. Lovely ball round the corner, and that's going to be Davidson's try. Beautiful ball. Lovely ball round the corner, and Davidson, it seemed to bounce away from him, but he managed to hang on, and he got the try, the substitute, his first of 97.
The architect comes up with the goods again. Martin Crompton running back. It perhaps was a bit forward, or maybe it was level. Either way, he kicked it forward. Davidson did very well. Wasn't the best pass, but look how it hits his leg. Kicks it off the knee. Tremendous work there by Davidson. But again, we see the delayed pass by Davidson, by Crompton running on the angle. See how the Paris defence hang off him. He confused them a couple of times in the first half. A little bit of lady luck shines Oldham's way. But it was a good run by Davidson. The architect was Crompton again.
Paul Davidson's first try in Super League 1997. The man from Hensingham in Cumbria who arrived here via witness. And Francis Maloney now from bang in front will surely add the extra two to ease the pressure on Oldham. And Andy Goodway, he does. It's 18 points to 8. There's daylight now between the Bears and Paris Saint-Germain.
Crompton running the angle. You can see the defence will hang back. Let's see what he does. And then when they commit, two go for one. Davidson did so well. Juggles the ball but gets the four at a vital time. Good control.
So Oldham now have 10 points between them and the opposition. They have been scoring points, 19 tries before tonight, but have been leaking an average of 31 points per game, and that really does spell disaster in the Super League. Paris now trying to strike back immediately, but that's good defence from Maloney. He's made a bit of a difference since he's been on. Lomax now up the middle. O'Donnell stepped over the grounded player, and the referee adjudges that Goldspink, although he's injured, was making no attempt to get out of the way.
Well, he collided with the elbow, and that's a little bit tragic to be penalised for the situation where you're injured, but Russell Smith is not a doctor. He can't tell if someone's injured out there. He'd already given the penalty at this point, and probably looked with horror as Goldspink roll off.
Well, the magic sponge has worked its magic again. So Paris with the penalty. Let's hear from Matt Monroe of Oldham, currently off the field and talking to Alistair.
Matt, have you felt all along that Oldham were capable of a good performance this season?
I honestly believe that we were close to that good performance. We needed to sort out certain areas of our game, and the win would come, and hopefully today that we can get it home.
Do you really want to put on a show for Andy Goodway, who's on quite a bit of pressure, isn't he?
And he's under a bit of pressure, but he's stuck by us, and we're going to stick by him.
This is Tony Wall who will get the try. And just as Matt Monroe's talking about a possible victory, Paris spread the ball out wide, and Wall goes down the touchline and scoots in at the corner. It's not over yet.
Lovely pass out wide. They did the link. You'll see Scott Ranson move in, commit himself, but they miss him. It was a great handoff by Anthony Wall. That is a fine try, but what a take there. Long ball out wide. Aldernick out wide. Look at the handoff there. Get away, Scott Ranson. That is a fine winger's try. Dion Bird linking forward. He's been doing that all night, but this is a tremendous try. See how he moved the ball across his chest to carry it in the left, fends with the right, dives into the corner. Paris are not out of this yet.
They're not, and that's going to be a good kick. That's a tremendous kick from Robinson from the touchline. Again, the gap is 4 points, 18 points to 14. But I hope Oldham aren't counting their chickens, Steve-O.
Look at the two quick passes out wide. It caught the sliding defence. See how tight they were there. And what a fend. That's a fine handoff. That is a great try.
Ranson, the man who was handed off, trying to make amends. Gildart goes off to be replaced by Gary Lord. Faimilo, been there from the start. Strong run, but equally stern and stout defence from Priddle. Oh, the ball comes straight out of Goldspink's arms and into the arms of Tony Wall again. Don't forget, vote now for your man of the match, 0891 66 55 25. We want your votes now for who you think has been the most impressive player on the field tonight.
Well, there's been quite a few.
Man of the match could well emerge here in the next 17 and a half minutes to win this game for either side. Robinson, Paris, their tails are up after that try.
Oh, they've used a dummy runner again. Deary me. Paul Evans coming across. See how Robinson used it. Evans went through, took out a man. Well, they're setting up the planned moves. You could see how Robinson will hold it. And Evans went through. Well, dearie me. You talk of losing the plot, you work out all that hard work just thrown away.
Oldham with a 4-point lead. They played here 3 times in 1996. They lost 2 to St Helens and Wigan. They won against Paris. They haven't won here yet this season, and they've got a long way to go before they can say they've picked up winning money here. Well, Paris coming back into this match with every second that ticks by.
They've got a man out there, Martin Crompton Oldham, who knows that to slow things down is the key to this now.
Gary Law, that was good hands from Oldham, and it was the last pass from Crompton. Everything's going through the scrum half. Little dink over the top. Aitchison hacks the ball forward. That will beat him. Whoa, and Aitchison goes sliding into the advertising hoardings.
Nice option there by Martin Crompton. He's been in everything. Chipped over the top. It was a set move. The fullback was tearing through. Pretty strong barriers, and it had to be. He's a big boy. But that's what Oldham have to do now. Play out the complement of 6. They know that Paris have to start playing catch-up football. They're 4 points adrift.
But I'll tell you something, Steve-o, this match isn't over yet, not by a long chalk. They've had a tough start, Paris Saint-Germain. The fixture computer hasn't been kind to them. They've had Leeds, London, St Helens, Salford and Bradford to come on Friday. What a start for Paris Saint-Germain. We will see how they'll do at the Charlotte on Friday at 7 when the Bradford Bulls go across the channel with us on Sky Sports 1 for the next episode in Super League 97. Paris, Bradford, Friday at 7. But it has been the most difficult start that Paris Saint-Germain could possibly have wished for. Some big names, and they've perished against them all bar Sheffield Eagles.
Well, as you say, it's certainly not over. Both sides have shown a lot of commitment. They've fought back. It was Oldham that fought back in the second part of the first half. And now we're seeing this change in this game. It looked all over, didn't it, at 18-8, with Oldham controlling the match.
Good run. Goldspink again, who has looked strong and full of running all night. A barnstorming run, the sort of run that really can lift a team. Stevenson to Davidson. Davidson goes round one. Brilliant pass off the ground. They dropped the ball.
It was a forward pass anyway, on the last. They elected for the power play. For Milo trying to get it away. It was overrun there. A big chance, a big run. Davidson, he certainly injected himself into this game. Took a tremendous tackle there to bring him down.
And that's the first time, Steve-o, that Oldham have run the power play tonight, and the game's 66.5 minutes old.
Well, the option was there. The gap was given up to him. Davidson did so well. We've seen some tremendous cover defence from both sides. Look at that, Goldspink. Tremendous stats.
He hasn't made a clean break all season, but tonight he's made 4. O'Donnell into the arms of Robinson. Robinson presses his foot on the gas. Good tackle by Paul Aitchison. Devecchi was the dummy half. Here is Bergman, a midfield bomb.
They're all onside. Bergman's put him there, but what a great take there.
Well played.
Amongst all the heavy tackle. Well, he did well, didn't he? Tremendous stuff. I can't see who it is that's injured. There was a lot of high-flying traffic there. It's Stevenson, I think, yeah. And it looks worse for wear. But what a brave effort.
For Milo again up the middle. Solid Paris defence just over the halfway line.
Be interesting to see if Oldham run the power play again or whether they'll elect the kick. Surely Martin Crompton's experience will steer them through. Oh, forward again.
Well, he's running a very fine line, Martin Crompton. Davidson hangs on, looks at the referee who has said play on. Here's Crompton again.
Oh, he's made the mistake. The experience there should have told. They should have elected for the kick. But to be fair to Paris, they got away with it to Oldham with that forward pass again. There's been a few of those tonight.
Abram was quickly in with the tackle. This is Adam Peters, the man who went off in the first half. Head now heavily bandaged.
Well, that's what you call a hospital pass there. You can see the Lomax getting the ball away.
Sorry, the man with the headband, by the way, is Michael Hogue. It's not Adam Peters.
Well, a lack of discipline. Stevenson, who received a knock a few seconds earlier. Gary Lord involved as well. Just a little touch of the ankle. It will not be pleasing the Oldham coach, Andy Goodway, who I'm sure must have felt halfway through the second half that they had this game under their control.
There's Michael Hogue. He's been in the wars tonight, and he's in the wars again, flat out as this attack continues. Brett Goldspink has gone off, and Matt Monroe has returned. Wayne Singh, Tony Priddle, charging run from Priddle. Davidson did well. Here's Bergman again. Bergman, the man who got that hat-trick at Salford, he's still going even though his back is to the Oldham posts. O'Donnell to Robinson. Lomax on a run on the inside, looking for the support from Bird. Last tackle, so close again, Paris, big pressure here. More pressure, he's in for the try.
Oljanik is in for a vital try. At what a great time. They spun it out wide, and the centre is in for a try. Super play. They split the Oldham defence. Long ball out wide there. They did so well. Evans then gave it to this fella who squeezes himself in. Aitchison and Myler had no chance. They held back. You can see the defence hesitate. They should have moved forward and applied the pressure, and they paid the price. What a fight back. What a game. Option on the blind side. They waited for him, and he took full advantage.
Well, Jamie Oljanik, he came on the 1991 tour of Great Britain with the Aussie school side, formerly with Penrith, Manly and Perth, rebuilding his career in Europe. And Jeremy Robinson now, with Peter Mulholland, his coach, watching anxiously on, can give Paris the lead, but not with kicks like that. No emotion from Mulholland. Robinson knows that that's a mistake. It's 18 all at Boundary Park. Oldham and Paris are all square, and it's all to play for. We've now got 9 minutes to go, and this match can go either way. Well, it's so tense now. Here's Matt Monroe, talking about a victory not long ago, now out to try and get a victory for his team. Referee Russell Smith didn't like the challenge. He went to the pocket.
Pretty high as well. Well and truly over the top. Paul Evans did not miss the swinging right arm. Well, what on earth is going through his mind? He's been quite creative tonight. He's a tall fella.
And remember, Paul Evans, the man who was sent off at Salford.
You see the swinging arm. Well, he was sent off for not a high tackle that day, but that certainly was a high tackle, and he's a lucky boy.
He goes on report. The referee wasn't sure whether it went off the chest into the neck, but he's convinced it was a high tackle, and so he wants the disciplinary committee to make the decision this week.
Bang, straight into the head.
It was dangerous.
Of course it was.
Adam Peters has returned to the fray. It's worth reminding you that these two were involved in the very first Super League draw last year in Paris. 24 points all. Who is your man of the match? Ring us now and vote. Great defence again from Paris. Abram had nowhere to go.
Well, the option of trying to get the ball out wide in a situation like that is not on. When a scoreline is 18 all, and we've seen over this weekend how vital the 1 point from the field goal is, they should have been driving towards the Paris sticks. I'm sure if the Paris side get anywhere near the Oldham quarter, that's what they'll opt for. They'll go for the 1 point.
It was Scott Ranson, by the way, who was dragged into touch by the Paris defence, not Darren Abram. There's Abram now, with Gary Lord doing the tackling.
It's vital now that Oldham try to keep them down in their own quarter.
So here come Paris again. Not long ago, they were 10 points down, 18-8. Now it's all square at 18 all, and with 6.5 minutes to go, this match is there for the winning. They could do with a win, Paris. As we say, they face Bradford on Friday at the Charlotte, but so too could Oldham do with a win. My word, they could.
Well, that's probably the worst kick that we've seen from Jeremy Robinson tonight. Came off the side of the boot, but it did bounce. At least he gained 20 vital metres. The big question is now, can they get the possession?
Well, one of the big features of Super League 97 on both sides of the world, the tight finishes that we're getting to these matches. Just less than 6 minutes to go now, and these two are 18 all.
Common sense has to prevail. Do nothing silly either side. Solid defence. Make sure you don't roll around on the player. Keep on side.
Here's Crompton. They've suddenly woken up to the danger that Crompton has to their ambitions, Paris. Davidson takes the tackle. This is the last one now then. They're 20 metres out. Is it going to be a one-point attempt?
What are they doing?
Drove it
Dearie me. And that is sometimes why fellas like that, you only find them in the forwards. What on earth was he trying to do? Carting the ball forward into the defence on the last tackle. For what reason?
Well, he plainly hadn't heard the call.
Crompton was waiting. Well, I'm sure he'll have a few things to say. The second rower, Gary Lord.
They're keeping it alive again, Paris. That's a beautiful run. Bergman, this is.
Stepped under and around would-be tacklers. They're getting tired.
Robinson.
They're falling off the tackles now, but not that one.
Oljanik, he bounced away from one, from Neil, and he can't get away from Crompton. Neil again, and Rob Myler. 4.5 minutes to go. Robinson drills the ball down the line, looking for touch, and he finds touch again. Just to keep Oldham penned back on their own line and pray for a mistake.
Well, he knew he was too far out. 49 metres is a pretty long way to go for a one-pointer. So Robinson took the better option into the corner. Tense time for Andy Goodway.
Well, he's a very laid-back individual, Andy Goodway, and he wishes he could have his first choice 13 out on the field. He believes then that he ought to be judged on results only when his best team is on the field. But at 18 all, he knows that his team is less than 4 minutes away from their first point of the season, but he would love to. So would Paris and Peter Mulholland, by the way. They're on the halfway line, Oldham, with Crompton, and now Faimilo will drive it down the middle. Good half break from Faimilo. Good defence though from Lomax and Singh. Here's Davidson, straight up the middle again.
That's a good run by Davidson, vital 10 metres. They've got to go for the 1 point, here it comes.
Going for a long range effort, Crompton. He's just pulled it wide.
Well, they worked hard there, Oldham. Davidson really drove it forward to at least give the skipper, Crompton, the chance. He was off the target.
Now then, it's Paris's turn to try and get up the other end. Priddle takes that tackle. Deveci's gone off to be replaced by Matt O'Connor. His Super League debut. What a time to come on with 3 minutes left for play, and there he is. O'Connor almost through, was held back by Faimilo.
Just held hold of him. What a debut it would have been. There was no full back. Aitchison was up very short. Forward pass. What a mistake.
Play on.
Deary me, what a time to come up with a mistake like that. Well, they missed their opportunity, Oldham. It was wide from Crompton.
Here's Crompton again, taking them on himself, Martin Crompton.
There's a reaction.
Well, he knows that a point is available, but that's good play by Oldham. They're in the danger zone with Maloney, who tries the 1 pointer. Maloney, will it creep over our bar? I think it has. It has indeed. Francis Maloney gets the 1 point, draws applause from his coach and applause from the crowd. Is that the 1 point that wins it?
Tremendous stuff. They did not wait until the last. They used common sense. Dion Bird tried to get up like his name suggests. Look how close it was. A fraction of an inch.
There's relief.
Tremendous pressure kick from Maloney. He's been around a while. He's been to quite a few clubs, but he really has settled in at Oldham here. And what a vital 1 point that could prove later on in the season.
Well, 27-26, Paris went down against Salford. 19-18, they are down here against Oldham. The referee wisely has stopped the clock because Mike Neal is needing attention, and Oldham have used up all their substitutes, so he will either stay on the field and just be a menace, or he'll go off. One way or the other. We have got a massive 1 minute and 20 seconds coming up here, and this will surely go deep, which it does.
What a nail biter. They've got to throw everything at this Oldham defence now. It's no good trying to take it forward. They've got to keep this ball alive. Spin and turn, keep it alive, try to run Oldham off their feet.
Here's Priddle, bags of experience. Priddle slips the pass away. Dion Bird off the ground to O'Donnell. Desperate defence now from Oldham. This is incredible. The tension is crackling around this ground because Paris are getting up the other end. And will they be tempted to have a go for 1 point to level things up? I'm sure they will. Priddle running the angle again. Ball back on the inside. Wall picks it up, keeps the movement going. Wall has cut through two, goes past three. They've got a man out wide.
Oh, he's made a real meal of it.
This is Crompton who's picked up the loose ball. Crompton with all of Paris after him. Gets the pass inside to Aitchison.
Oh, he's dropped it now. What on earth is happening here? The coach is saying, why on earth did he pass? Seconds remaining. All Crompton had to do was go to ground.
Well, the next tackle will be the end of the match. There it is, that's the final siren. And Oldham have picked up their first win of the season. Peter Mulholland goes down the tunnel, absolutely dejected. And Paris, well, they made one almighty fight of it. But there's the relief man, Andy Goodway. Davidson with a second half try. And how close were Paris to a point. But then up popped Francis Maloney and over went the drop goal. It scraped over the bar. And for the second time on Sky Sports, Paris and Peter Mulholland go down by a single point. Poor old Paris, but it's such a vital win for Oldham. It cannot be measured. But look how close it was to hitting the bar and coming out. That won the match.
Well, there are the details of a quite magnificent match in the end between Oldham and Paris, and it was won by the drop goal from Francis Maloney. Oldham 19, Paris 18. Tremendous entertainment. Now, man of the match, your view. Dion Bird of Paris, Jamie Olsznik of Paris. Martin Crompton of Oldham, oh, he's won it by a mile, 70%, and others just pick up 3%. So Martin Crompton's the man of the match, he's the prize winner, and he is now with Alistair.
Well, Martin Crompton, you've been named man of the match by our viewers. A commemorative video and a small television for you. I wonder whether or not you felt that was a result that was coming for you.
Well, a win's a win. It was difficult. We've been lacking confidence in because of the past results, but we stuck to it in the end and we've got a good win.
How much do you think this will mean for team morale now?
Well, it's all about confidence this game, and we've been lacking confidence because of the defeats, and everybody's been under pressure, but hopefully this is the lift what we needed.
Well, congratulations.
Can I just dedicate this to our Jane? I won it for you, Jane.
And the viewers' competition man of the match winner is Shane McShane from Warrington, Martin Crompton's old club, of course, Warrington. So, Shane McShane, the TV's on its way to you. Oldham tonight have come home with 2 vital points, courtesy of Francis Maloney's drop goal. Steve-O, it doesn't matter whether it's top, middle or bottom, as they say somewhere else. In this game, you get drama all the way, don't you?
At my age, I don't think my ticket can handle this much drama. No, it was a tremendous, especially in the second half, and full credit to both sides. They were out on their feet near the end. It was absolutely tremendous, and both sides deserve a lot of credit.
How sorry do you feel for Peter Mulholland and Paris? Because they had a point and it was snatched away from them by an absolute fraction, wasn't it?
Well, a couple of times they give a lot of the ball away, silly passes, but late in the game they had to throw everything at them. But a lot of controversy, especially in the first half. This will be talked about for quite some time, and I'm sure that Paris will have a lot to say about it. I hate to bring things up like this, but you can see quite clearly that that is so forward that surely everyone on this ground and all the viewers, but yet not the officials, saw that it was going to be. But let's not take anything away from Oldham. They missed on their first opportunity. It wasn't the best kick by Crompton, but on the second chance, they run it on the fourth, and the substitute Maloney, and full credit to Bird. He tried to rise, but he couldn't flap the wings just enough. Look at that. How close can it be? And that could be the difference between survival in the Super League.
Well, it could. It was an inch, that's all. It just sighed as it went over the bar, and there was a huge sigh of relief around this ground.
I mean, it was an amazing effort by the full-back Bird, who I thought had a tremendous match also. I mean, Crompton's 3 pieces of magic. OK, one was a forward pass. If you get away with it, then that's all well and good. It's all part and parcel of the game. It can be upsetting, but let's not take anything away from that influence that Crompton had. 3 wonderful pieces of magic. He creates 3 tries. Great match.
Yeah, great game, and let's now round up the rest of the days and the weekend's results for you in Super League. Leeds 13, St Helens 12, the champions beaten. Salford 17, Sheffield 16. How tight has it been this weekend? Wigan 18, Bradford 22, Castleford 8, Warrington 24 earlier today, Halifax 24, London 24, Oldham 19, Paris 18. 4 matches there out of the 6 and a whisker between the 2 teams. At the end of the weekend, we have 2 teams at the top of the table with 100% records. Bradford Bulls, Salford Reds. Saints, London, Halifax, Leeds, Wigan, Warrington, Sheffield, Oldham. They've moved out of the bottom 2. Paris dropped down below them, and Castleford Tigers are still rooted at the foot of the table. It could have been worse for Castleford, couldn't it? Because if Paris had won here, the gap between them, Oldham and Castleford, would have been 4.
They'll be very relieved, Castleford, but it'll be a sad state of affairs in the Paris dressing room. They work so hard, and it's amazing you can often come away with just absolutely nothing.
And that's exactly what they've done. How will they do, I wonder, next weekend? We'll preview it all in the world of Super League on Wednesday at 8 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. Hope you'll join us for that. And we'll be looking ahead to Paris against the Bradford Bulls, which we will bring to you live and exclusive from the Charlotte Stadium in the French capital next Friday at 7 o'clock. Paris against Bradford, Sky Sports 1. And this time next week, we'll be wrapping up Sheffield Eagles against the Leeds Rhinos, 6:30 on Sky Sports 1 for, again, the 6:35 kickoff. Well, what a weekend this has been. So many matches, nothing to choose between the sides. Bradford and Salford march on, though. From us both, bye-bye.
from Sky.